Hello everyone, Tebrith here, and welcome to my week 3 video on my journey to learning TF2. This video isn't going to be as long or as in-depth as the others, primarily because I have no idea where my brain's been this past week. For a bit of context, the software I've used up until now is called Vegas Pro, and I've been getting increasingly frustrated with it because of its constant crashing and not really rendering the videos how I have it edited. For example, in last week's video, you can clearly tell the background music was still playing when it should have been silent during one of the title card transitions, and then cutting out entirely for the last minute or so. And there's been some other issues before then as well. Shout out to the commenter that recommended CapCut. I know I've only been using it for the video you're currently watching so far, but it's already so much easier and smoother to use than Vegas Pro ever was, and hopefully it'll render just fine too. Anyway, another main issue, and this one is entirely my fault, what I typically do when recording for my series is record clips, where I just play normally, and whenever something interesting happens, I press a single button, and the past minute of gameplay gets recorded. Something I learned how to do during week 2, which saves a lot of room on my computer when compared to recording entire matches like what I did for week 1. However, this week, not counting day 1, I apparently forgot to do any of that. So the only footage I have for this video was all captured quite literally the day after last week's video was uploaded. So I do apologize for the less than stellar footage. I do try to have whatever I'm talking about be present in the video itself, save for filler whenever I'm not talking about something game related. Behind the scenes complaints aside, I also would like to talk about some changes I'm implementing to the challenge. For you see, up until this past week, I've been discovering TF2, the game, as a whole, being able to learn through the lens of Pyro. What makes this game tick? However, I've reached a point where I'm starting to run out of ideas for daily challenges, so I've decided to forgo those, especially since it's been pointed out to me by a few buddies of mine that it seems like I've been focusing too much on the challenges and not enough on the game itself, which only opens up the door for more incidents like the gas passer contract to happen all over again and again. So, from now on, I'll stick to just weekly challenges and enjoy the game for what it is a bit more. Speaking of which, for this past week I was primarily experimenting with different loadouts, see what works and what doesn't, and so I'd like to talk about my favorite combinations, starting with what I like to call the defensive roamer. This loadout consists of the Dragon's Fury, the Scorch Shot, and the Power Jack. The strategy with this loadout is pretty simple. I use the Dragon's Fury to help the objective with protecting the flanks and punishing out-of-place enemies trying to get the drop on my teammates. The Scorch Shot is used to annoy distant enemies in open sightlines and help the tension for my teammates that may be over there, for it is so much easier to defeat an enemy that's on fire than one that isn't, after all. And the Power Jack for mobility to help me get from point A to point B faster, an effort to mitigate the fact that I am one of the slowest units on the flank. As you can see, the idea behind this loadout is to be a sideline monster, melting unprepared enemies as they're trying to ambush my team. My second favorite loadout is perhaps a more fleshed out version of the initial playstyle I've ever developed for Pyro. The loadout that I like to call the Helldiver. Yes, the name is not coincidental and is in fact fully intentional. Anyway, this loadout consists of the Backburner, the Thermal Thruster, and the Back Scratcher. It's sort of like a much more aggressive version of the defensive Roamer playstyle, where instead of defending the flanks, I'm pushing them, using the Backburner to get the drop on enemies not expecting to see a Pyro suddenly drop out of the sky, the Thermal Thruster to make jumps that some scouts dare not attempt, as well as to quite literally get the drop on enemies. And then the Back Scratcher for the boost to melee, as well as the health pickups. And the downside to it doesn't really apply to me here, because with this playstyle, I'm not really expecting any help from my local medics anyway, since I'll typically be so far out of position for them. And finally, the third loadout I found to be pretty useful, one that I'm sure many of you are already aware of, the Pyro, consisting of the Degreaser, the Panic Attack, and the Homewrecker. It's a much more chill loadout than the others, for when I just want to hang by the engineer nests and protect them from spies and other threats. The Degreaser and Panic Attack combo for instant action for whatever threat presents themselves, and the Homewrecker to help me take out those pesky sappers. This is the loadout to go with if the flanks are too hot for me to deal with, since both the defensive roamer and the Helldiver are pretty reliant on ambush and guerrilla tactics. It's only a matter of time before my presence on the flanks condition the enemies to just start expecting to see me everywhere. For then it's time for me to be nowhere and be the local engineer's best friend for a bit. And that's about it. I'm sorry I wasn't able to go into more depth with these loadouts, but with how everything's been going wrong for me lately, I've been needing to take a small break to recollect myself. It won't affect the upload schedule any, I just really need to get back into the swing of things more than anything. And with just 1 week of Pyro left, I know I was rather hesitant at the start of this month, but I do believe I'll be giving Man vs. Machine a go this coming week. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, with the ending of January and the coming of February comes the end of my journey with Pyro and the coming of a new class, and while I was again originally thinking on going Soldier next, or maybe Heavy, one commenter suggested I relive my old days as a medic, the only other class I have some actual experience playing, and after giving it some thought, I figured it might not be a bad idea. It's not really set in stone or anything of the sort, but feel free to leave a comment below on what class you think I should dedicate February to. I'm curious to see what you all have to say. Just know that I'm automatically vetoing Sniper and Spy. As much fun as I've had with them on the occasional match or two, I'm not quite ready to dedicate an entire month to them quite yet. But everyone else is on the table. And with that, I do wish you all a wonderful remainder of your day. Okay, so awkward. Apparently, CapCut is being banned in the US, and I had no idea. So I had to go back through the entire video, get rid of all the pro stuff just to be able to export it. And now I'm back to square one because I didn't have enough time to remake this video for you guys. I'm literally just slapping this at the tail end because I'm already like 30 minutes late uploading this, trying to figure out what the hell. Anyway, I guess good day.